They say you don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here. And no, I don't wanna be alone.
Hey there, YouTube. This is Cine for Cine Reviews, and now for the Fandom Collective. Today I'm going to be doing my movie review of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, a comedy that came out around 1975. I watched this many times when I was on deployment in the Navy back in the day. First time I saw it, it pretty much cracked me up. Just watched it again the other day to get a refresher, and I really appreciate the comedy. I'm not obviously laughing out loud again. I'm just watching it and enjoying it for what it is. Also, I've been a fan of British style humor, from Monty Python and the Flying Circus to Rowan Atkinson when he was Blackadder and Mr. Bean. Are You Being Served? I don't know if anybody has watched that, but that is also a British comedy TV series that was made in the 70s. So the movie is based on more later versions of King Arthur. I'm a King Arthur fan. For me, it's set about 400 years too late, and listed as circa 972, I believe, where King Arthur, if he did exist, more likely going to be somewhere around the late 500s, early 600s. Okay, so onto the film. The film is based on the actual him being a knight, a king looking for other knights, and what he's doing is he's going up to castles and trying to talk to the lords of the castles, and that way he wants to recruit them to become Knights of the Round Table and go with him back to Camelot. So at first he tries, and the guards get distracted by silly questions about European and African swallows and the coconuts. If you haven't seen this movie, you should definitely Netflix it or Amazon it, watch it, so you can get some of the references. He's unsuccessful at his first couple attempts, and then eventually he finds Lancelot, Sir Bedivere. You find him when he's brought a witch from the village and they want to burn her, and then you got to figure out if she's a witch or not, and he uses false logic. All the situations themselves are really silly, but there was an interesting use of magic and mythology that is reoccurring. So King Arthur finds his knights, and then he comes upon a castle and he finds out there's a bunch of Frenchmen, and what are you doing in England? And they're like, mind your business, and being all Frenchy towards them. They also say they've already got a Grail, so their lord probably wouldn't be interested in going. So this brings up more situational comedy, where you see a throwback to the Trojan horse from the Helen of Troy days. So the King Arthur, he keeps going, and he wants to find the Holy Grail because he's given a command by God in the clouds, and this is depicted in a Terry Gilliam done illustration / animation. It's really old school, where they just do an illustration of something and then they make parts of the body move, basically like cutting it out and then doing like a stop motion effect on it. And this was pretty typical in the Monty Python and the Flying Circus TV show. They would have just silly interludes with goofy illustrations. And the movie's not really that far off, but it has more of an actual effect on the storyline, even if it's totally way over the top, like most of the entire movie. So they split apart and try and find the Holy Grail separate, and each person they show having different adventures. Which one was that? Dang, I think it's Sir Galahad, but I'm not positive on that one. He ends up at a castle where they actually had a Grail-shaped beacon, and just as he was about to find out that he wasn't as pure as he was, Sir Lancelot rescues him from his dreaded captors. Sir Robin is unable to locate the Grail. King Arthur runs into the Knights who say knee. There's a hilarious encounter when I first saw it. It was probably the part I laughed the most, with the Black Knight and King Arthur, and he eventually beats the Black Knight. Sir Lancelot single-handedly takes on a castle full of, I guess you could call them hippie guards and party guests, mistakenly, because he thinks the note that he gets is from an actual princess and not a prince. Eventually, everybody has their own adventures and comes back together into the party, and they find their way to the Bridge of Death, and only Lancelot and King Arthur and Bedivere are able to advance. They finally get to almost getting to their destination. They even get this magical boat that comes out of nowhere. It's really reminiscent of Viking longship. Takes him over to this island, and he runs into the same French knights that he did earlier. The climax is kind of anticlimactic. I don't want to really give it away, but it's rather humorous, and back then there weren't a lot of military type movies set in the Middle Ages, like Braveheart. I know that's really not a very accurate movie based on the actual history, but they had some pretty interesting looking battles. I thought I was going to get one when the first time I saw it, and then everything changed. It's interesting seeing that this actually had a side story, even though it was a minor side story. It was kind of funny watching it keep showing up. You also had some recurrent themes, such as people beating things with black cats, and that was something that I believe referenced people's fear of cats back in the Middle Ages. And you had the couple characters that would show up earlier and then show up later again. You saw them and say, oh, okay, I recognize that person. So overall, I'd recommend watching it at least once, maybe twice if you like it, if you haven't seen it yet. If you have seen it, go ahead and watch it again. You might see things that you, oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was pretty funny. So I would give this a rating of a B, and I would say that's because of rewatchability. I mean, I watched the heck out of it, and it's something I can watch again, but I'm not gonna just keep watching it. I got to have like a space in between watches so it doesn't get stale. And yeah, that's about it for this review. going to continue doing more reviews. Got a web series coming up, superhero based. We're going to have a production meeting in April, so I'll keep you all informed of what's going on with that, as well as if there's anything I can link to, I will throw it in the links in future descriptions of any future. Well, I'm going to do more reviews, so it'll be in one of those. Okay, I will see you in the next review.